my name's Gail. Today I'm doing an airbrush mountain scene. In specific, a scene from the Blue Ridge Mountains in the Appalachians, namely Virginia. These mountains get their name from their characteristic blue color and the misty smoke that kind of rises up around them. They're just really beautiful, and it's exciting to get to do a picture of them. So I'm going to be using a lot of blue color, needless to say, but I'm going to have the scene be in the evening so I can get some beautiful oranges and reds and pinks and purples into a sunset in the sky. As you can see, the ridges of this mountain aren't as steep as, say, the mountains that are out west. They're more rolling, even though they are a high altitude. I grew up in the southern Appalachians, and that's where I started doing my airbrushing, and I painted a lot of mountain scenes. Later on in my life, I moved to Florida, so as a professional airbrush artist there, I painted lots and lots of beach scenes. But some of the techniques between the two are very similar. And if you look, I have some beach scene videos on YouTube, and you can check those out, and you'll probably notice a lot of similarities between the two. I worked as a professional airbrush artist for quite a few years, I'd say almost 20 years. And now I've been retired for about 15 years. And I hadn't done much airbrush, but this year for Christmas, I got a brand new airbrush setup, Pache airbrush, which is my favorite, and a cute little Pache compressor, which so far I'm really, really happy with. So I've got my lines in there for the mountains, and now I'm going to start putting in some color in the sky and in the foreground to bring some brightness to this project. There's just nothing in my mind more beautiful than a sun setting over the mountains or setting over the water, whether it be a lake or the ocean or a beautiful river. So these are kind of some of my favorite things to paint. This particular painting is being done on a t-shirt. I worked in t-shirt shops all over the southeast for a really long time, and it's always fun to get to meet the people that you're making your art for and interact with them. But now I'm, like I said, retired, so I spend most of my time at home. So I'm doing this for fun and just to share a little bit with some people. I also have quite a few YouTube shorts that you may want to check out. During the spring and summer, I do a lot of gardening. Everything to do with nature is really interesting to me. So most of my artwork is nature inspired. And in the wintertime where I live now, it's really cold and snowy, and I spend most of my time indoors. So I like to do arts and crafts while I'm stuck inside all winter long. Ooh, this pink is really looking good with the mixing with the yellow to make some orange, and I think that's going to turn out to be a pretty nice sky there. In between the colors, I run water through my airbrush to rinse out the color I was using so it won't get mixed with the next color that I'm going to use. And I'm going to turn this yellow down here into some green. That looks nice. And here we go with some trees. Some big conifer trees. Where I live out west now, we have some monster trees. I love painting those. They make such a nice foreground with the mountains and the sunset in the background. And this technique is really similar to the one that I used to make palm trees, doing strokes, single strokes. Some airbrush artists will cut stencils for trees. I find them to feel much more natural and alive when they're painted with single strokes like this. It takes a little bit longer, but not long once you get used to it. I've been surprised so far the past few days playing with my new airbrush. I thought I'd be real rusty after not having done any for a decade or two, but it just came back really quick and it feels real natural to me, so I'm pretty excited about having a new airbrush set and the opportunities that it will allow me to do some artwork and think about and look at nature and all her beauty and majesty, and think about these trees and how long they've been there and how tall they are. I tell you, some of the ones we have out west are incredible.
Oh, yeah, where are you?
And when they're covered with snow, even more so. And it snows in the Blue Ridge Mountains. I've been there in the winter when there was snow, and but not like it does out in the Pacific Northwest. That might be the next airbrush design that I try to work on. I haven't done much airbrush since I've lived out here, so that'll be interesting to see how I solve the problem of having a great big tree like these and covered in snow. So now I'm going back with some white highlights to show that the sun is shining on those clouds, and I'm going to put a little bit of white mist in between those mountain ranges. The Blue Ridge Mountains are just like the Smokies, known for that white mist that rises up between the valleys because it's so nice and moist there, unlike how dry it is out west here. Both places have their own beauty, but growing up in the southern Appalachians, I really find them to be some of the most beautiful mountains I've ever seen. So I hope you're enjoying this airbrush design I'm doing today, and if you like what I'm doing, hit like and subscribe. See you later.